where does our stuff go? Where does it all come from? So I guess I just really taught myself all this sort of stuff just from this one movie. And I just really like to explore rabbit holes, apparently. So it just sort of happened. I really have no idea. And then I started talking about it. And people, I sort of found these communities online, and people were talking about it as well. And people spoke back to me about slow fashion. They're like, well, have you heard of this person doing cool things? I'm like, no, I follow them or go meet them, all that sort of thing. So I guess it just grew organically from that, my passion from it,
I
I guess. Yeah.
No, that's wonderful. I mean, we all have a moment in our life when we get the spark that you talked about in the beginning. That, when it made us think that there is something that we should know or it has to be that way. So the show that you mentioned, can you remember one thing from there that you thought about or you think twice that, oh wow, they said something and it makes sense?
I think from the minimalist documentary was like how they were sort of talking about how we're always consuming. Like we're always like, buy this thing and then you buy the next thing. Like you're always trying to keep up with somebody. And because social media was just starting, you were starting to see inside people's houses, or they were showing you what they bought, or like their collections of things. So you're like, oh, I should have that as well. To be a successful human, I should have all this sort of stuff. So
Right.
I think it was their message of like overall owning less, and like you actually don't really need that much. That really resonated with me and made me sort of think like, I'd moved from one state to the next and I dragged all this stuff with me and I didn't even know what I had dragged with me. And then I was like, finding these random things that I had and they had no meaning to me. So why did I have them? Like it just felt like it was a huge clutter on my head. So I guess like, the message of having less and consuming less really hit with me.
Yeah.
I think that was the main thing that just started it all, to be honest.
So, do you have any background, like in your household, how things usually works? Like, have you seen your parents or your siblings or uncle, aunt, how you usually do about sustainability that also come with them to you? You think that's a very good thing?
Like sustainability in the history of my family.
Sustainability means like in daily life, you do something which
Oh,
is
yeah.
sustainable, and we all come from the different backgrounds, and we do different things. So, what thing that you think that you were doing before even
Oh,
realizing that
before,
there's a
yeah.
term sustainability?
Well, my family wasn't really that sustainable, to be honest. Like we were a low, like, well, I guess there was different ways we were sustainable,
Okay.
but they're not ways that are echoed in my lifestyle now. But there was ways, like to be a little bit graphic, we were a family of five that kind of lived in the middle of nowhere. And
Okay.
we had my mum stayed home to look after, so my dad went out and worked.
Mm.
But to be a little graphic, we did like, slaughter sheep at our property to feed our family because that was the done thing back then.
Mhm.
And now I don't eat meat, so that's a bit of a weird thing. But that was the thing that was common around our area at that time from a low cost family in the middle of Tasmania. So I guess that was a sustainable way, like, we were sourcing our own meat. That was a sustainable thing to
Of
do,
course.
as horrible as it sounds, it is. Maybe things like that. Oh no. Look, I think I feel like I'm lying because I
There
feel
you
like
go.
as I'm
There
going
you
down
go.
this,
That's what I
like I'm
wanted to
going down
hear.
the rabbit hole, I'm thinking of more and more things. My
Okay.
mum used to make our clothing. She'd
Ah,
make little outfits for us, and then she'd also make clothing to sell as well. That was when we were a lot younger.
okay.
Yeah, my mum used to make our clothing, so she's a really good seamstress, and she'd make little matching outfits for myself and my sisters. So yeah, little things like that. I think they weren't like big ticket things,
Mm-hmm.
but they were just usually very small things like making clothing, making your own meat, sort of thing. We had chickens, so I guess we had eggs and that sort of
Of
thing.
course.
Um, little things. But I
Yeah.
guess that's a good way to go.
No, of course, that's the thing. You're eating organic. It doesn't. We have to be, good inside and out for both. So of course, you're growing your own chicken or your own farming. I mean, I heard a lot of stories in Australia, people having a big lands or the backyard, so they grew up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the weather is good too of some of the places, so it helps. No, not really.
Oh, it's well in Tasmania where I grew up. It's a colder state, so it's like kind of down the bottom of Australia. So it's a
Okay.
colder state, so it rains a lot and it's a lot colder. But
Okay.
up towards the top is where there's it's a lot warmer. But I think we had like average land, but here in Melbourne, I have no land whatsoever. So because it's in a city, like if you're more in a rural setting, you have more land, so you've got the ability to have chickens and sheep and that sort of thing. Yeah.